Hey, tell me this. Tell me this on the fights. I missed them. I read all about the Brown. I read a little bit about Johnny Hendricks and Hector Lombard. I know the outcome, but how did that go? Did you get to watch the contest?
I did. I watched the Johnny Hendricks Hector Lombard fight. It was fantastic. Johnny looked great. He had a full head of steam all throughout the fight. It was, I'm a Johnny guy. I've had his back through his losing streak. I've been rooting for him. And he was just, the relief. The relief you have after a fight's one thing. The relief you have after a victory is another one. He won the fight. He looked great. He was happy to be at 185 pounds, and he was a plus 118, and I won money on it.
You had Hendricks the whole time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what I thought. Hendricks is really, really good. Even though he's been on a bit of a skid and he had the weight issues, he's a big problem for anybody. And what I want when Hector goes out and fights, I just want Hector to perform. I've always been on the Hector bandwagon, even early on when people were mad at him and he'd won all those fights in Bellator and came to the UFC in a big contract and people were jealous about it. I've always been on board. That's a lifelong competitor. That's an Olympian in judo for Cuba. I mean, that's a tough guy, but I do feel sometimes he empties his gas tank so early, goes on a sprint. But when he does take into consideration, hey, this is a marathon and I could be out here the whole time, when he fights with that in mind, he fights really, really well. And
he did. That was his pace. He fought a good controlled pace. He didn't run out of steam. He had a great performance. I think one of the things that happened with Hector is he fell into the trap a lot of them do, is he got beat at 185 and he thought the solution was to go to 170. So then look how big he is at 185. So somehow he makes 170 a couple times, or maybe 3 times, decides this is too much weight. Now I'm going back to 185. If he didn't lose something in that weight cut, you're crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, the one thing that he has is he has height issues. He's a shorter guy. What's he stand about? 5'9" to 5'10", 5'9", 5'9 and a half. He could be as low as 5'8 and a half. I mean, he's just not a very tall guy, and height matters a little bit more than weight in fighting. So I liked him at 170 for those reasons, but I hear everything you're saying. And at 185, that's when he went on his run through Bellator, beat 22 guys straight. Might have been 23 guys straight. I want him to stay there. And I really don't even know what his record is. He is one of those guys that he goes out and he delivers, and sometimes it does not go his way. Sometimes in spectacular fashion it goes against him, but he brings it. He comes out and he gets it on. And I'm always tuning in for Hector.
One of our favorite gals, Sara McMann, had a great performance, and now she's on a bit of a roll. And she's starting to say, hey, I want a title shot. And what's so great about that is she had a rough time when she got in. We just thought Sara McMann, she's an Olympian, she's gonna run through this division, and she got bumped up quite a few times. So it's good to see her on a bit of a tear.
Who'd she fight?
She fought Gina Mazzani.
Okay, and Sara won. Good for Sara. If there's ever been a career that was mismanaged, it was Sara McMann's. The things I would have done differently with her if I was steering the ship. And I did think she was probably going to get lost to the shuffle, and I still do. I don't think she's going to get back there. She does a lot of things wrong where I don't feel she studies the sport. But as far as the talent goes, hey man, how much I've been on the Sara McMann bandwagon from Jump Street, from the very beginning. I thought she was going to be the one that was going to beat Ronda. So I'm happy to hear that she won. I didn't get to see any of these fights. Thanks for filling me in.